What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into NYJ today. It is Wednesday, or excuse me, not Wednesday. It is Sunday night podcast time. And we're just super happy to have you guys. It's the Sunday night post-game show. Sorry for butchering that intro. But here's the thing. We're really excited to be doing this. Do not leave Chad hanging. I will not do that. We are ready to go, boys. Yeah, I got the headband on. I'm not going to hesitate. I saw some pretty good things yesterday. Tyler Kroft is going to win the starting job. I don't think there's any debate anymore, right, Chad? What do you think on that one? Tyler Kroft, he looked pretty good. I know he scored 2 touchdowns, but he looked good catching the ball and running with it.
Tyler Kroft is one of the, I would say, one of the top 5 surprises so far of the preseason. I did not. If anybody on the tight end depth chart was going to make a step forward in this preseason, I honestly would not have expected Tyler Kroft to be that person, and so I am pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and so I don't know what the year was, but Kroft had 7 touchdowns in a season with the Bengals. It's been a while. It's been like 4 or 5 years or something like that. But he has that ability to obviously be a threat in the red zone. It's going to be interesting to see how they use him in the offense. It looks like a red zone target, right?
It does, and I've been hoping that Wesco was going to fill that role, but at this point, it's been so long, and obviously we've talked about Herndon in the past. We've waited for Herndon to just take this opening that's there right for him, and it doesn't seem to be happening. So I'll take what I can get when it comes to the tight end position. So
Yeah.
if Tyler, and I don't, it is, I don't know what year Kroft is in. He's in like year 6 or 7 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So is he a long-term answer at tight end? No. But am I going to take it for this season? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If he can continue to produce the way that he did last night.
Yeah, and I don't even know if he needs to produce like that on a week-to-week basis, but if he can just kind of like put that in like every once in a while, like every couple of games, score a touchdown, like that's an improvement at the tight end position, believe it or not.
Right, and we have to remind ourselves and each other that this is a team that at this stage of the NFL basically does not throw to their tight ends. We don't throw to our tight ends. We don't use our tight ends. So we're missing this whole piece of an offense. And I think now with Zach and the way that things are shaping up, we're going to be using our tight ends, and that's going to be a nice change of pace for us.
Yeah, and he seemed to like throwing to that one tight end at BYU. I should know his name. I don't off the top of my head. But they connected quite a bit. I know he had his receiver that got drafted in the 7th round by the football team.
Romney?
I don't remember, to be honest with you. I'd have to look it up. But John Capono, let's go. I'm trying to make it look better. It looks a little fat on my head. There we go. I got to pinch it. There we go. That's it.
It doesn't look quite. You don't pull it off quite as well as Zach does, but
yeah, I know. It's okay. I'm not really trying to. I'm just trying to represent for my boy. That's all.
Right. Hey.
So anyway, we will go ahead and just throw you guys the first pass of the night. And basically your comments are going to be read. And if you have questions, takes, go ahead and fill them in the bottom. There is a poll going on right now. It looks like most of you voted. So right now, we know Zach Wilson was the obvious clear runner for like player of the game in our game versus the Packers. I put a couple other names. I said Braden Mann, which, by the way, we're going to talk about him later in the show. My man is taking next steps, and it's no longer debatable. And we will talk about that. I don't want to go over it right now. Corey Davis, wide receiver, 70 yards on 4 receptions. He looks good after the catch, right?
Yeah. And I said this, and by the way, everybody was great yesterday in the live stream. I really like the traction that's going on and the back and forth that happens during the games. I do have a hard time paying attention because I keep going back and forth through the TV and stuff. But I said this yesterday. I was like, I am very pleasantly surprised with what I've seen from Corey Davis so far. Last year does not look like an anomaly. He's far and away, without a question, the best receiver that we've had since 2015, Brandon Marshall. It's not even a question. and I don't want to see him again until the Panthers. There is no reason to see him again. I don't want him. I don't want him practicing. I don't want him. I I don't want him practicing. I don't want him walk. I want him to be carried everywhere he goes. I want him wrapped in bubble wrap, and I'll see you at 1 o'clock in Carolina.
Yeah, I think after the Green Bay game, I think that might be how the Jets play it, but I still think they're going to want their young guys to play because they need experience. It's the week one game, it's wake up time. You know what I mean? Like it's no more
Yeah,
like pretend football. It's like the real shit basically. Like bullets will be flying week one. That's a big thing coming up for these young guys. So maybe some of the young kids will play, but I do believe you're right. Corey Davis should sit. I think even Zach Wilson, you can make the case. He's probably
yeah,
ready. He looks like he just needs mental reps at this point, not even on the field stuff.
yeah.
His stuff is clean. His fundamentals look so crisp right now.
I don't know who mentioned this in the. It might have been you that mentioned this in the chat yesterday, and I know we're jumping from injuries to Zach, but that's fine. So, uh, it's the effortlessness,
Yes.
and I know it's not effortless,
Oh,
but the way that it looks so smooth, the effortlessness that he has this release, and we're comparing him to obviously to Sam, and it looks like just it was always this kind of awkward struggle,
hmm.
long wind up, long throwing motion, with Zach, it's like he was just,
Yeah.
and granted, it's only been 2 games, I get it, but it just looks like he was like born to do it. Like it's just a fluid motion. It looks great. I mean, could you be any is do you have any concerns at all at this point?
With him,
Yeah.
no, I'm confident. I think he's ready. I think he's ready for week one. I don't, and that's why I think he should sit. Real quick before we get to more comments, I just want to give a quick shout out. Green Bean did this the other night, and I thought it was a pretty cool touch. He called out pretty much everybody's name that he could see in the chat. So Everaldo excuse me, not De Jesus, De Jesus. I believe that's how you say it. Welcome to the show. Stephen Engels here, Isaac Wright. We got Vervain, Braden, Isaac, got Frankie here, Richard, Jeremy Cravat. What's going on, man? It's good to see you. DSMY73, Sneakers to Boots. There's a whole boatload of you guys that are here watching us, and I want to take the time. I really like that touch from Green Bean, so I'm gonna maybe start doing that myself. Just calling you guys out. Mike, what's going on? He's late, but he's really not late because the show just started. I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. DSMY, he says, like the Klecko jersey, us old timers appreciate. got a funny. I got a funny comment to read. I like the Klecko jerseys. Us old timers appreciate a Jets blast from the past. I want more. I actually would love some more throwback jerseys. The Jets don't sell them. I would buy a Wesley Walker jersey. I would buy a Darrelle Revis jersey. Like, why are Darrelle Revis jerseys not for sale? Why can't you buy one? I don't want the current jersey with Darrelle Revis' name on it because he didn't play in those colors. You know what I mean? It's just stupid.
I always found that a little bit ridiculous. Like they don't they sell like a Namath current jersey,
Yeah.
like which is just looks like the weirdest thing ever.
We got Mr. Gazington. You just got a Toon jersey. Nice. I want a stitched one, and that's really all I buy. I want stitched replica throwback jerseys. Like, that's what I want. All right. Not too many questions in here. I'm so excited to have Zach as our quarterback. Believe in my heart, we found our QB finally. We will be talking about him, and it's not going to take long. He's the first topic tonight. De Jesus. My bad, dude. De Jesus. I almost got it. All right. We'll get into it. We will go to the first thing, and that's going to be the report from Adam Schefter earlier today. He has tweeted out, and I'll just read the tweet. It says, after losing Carl Lawson to a season-ending torn Achilles, the Jets are now looking for ways to acquire a pass rusher to help fill the void, per sources. A trade before the season is being explored. It doesn't say it's expected, but being explored, though. They are looking for a pass rusher, according to Adam Schefter, who is the insider. Like, I don't trust anybody really except for him. Chad, what are your initial thoughts on a potential pre-season trade for a edge rusher. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I checked Reddit when I first saw this, and so I want to give credit where credit is due. Somebody brought up this comment, and I really agree with it. Um, I don't know whether or not they're going to pull off a trade here or a free agent signing or something like that. But what I like is what this shows from Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, and the front office. Um, they are not just saying, "Hey, look, we're not going to compete this year. This is a 2-14 team. We've got a rookie quarterback." They're saying, "No, we really do. When we say we want to change the culture here, when we say we want to turn this losing culture around, we really mean it." Okay? So they looked at what happened. Look, our defense was getting gashed
Yeah.
yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you. We were talking about this in the chat. We didn't really see the energy coming off the field the way we did against the Giants on defense, you know. And is that a function of losing Lawson? Maybe, but whatever we were seeing from our side, sitting on the couch, the
Yeah.
front office was seeing too, and they're like, "Look, we don't like this, and we want to come in. We don't want the same old Jets. We want to change the culture here, and it makes total sense to me, and I like it. I like the move." Now you can turn the conversation to, well, we know this team isn't really going to compete this year. So if you want to give up, are you really going to give up draft capital, or are you really going to give up cap space to get a guy when the team isn't going to compete? And I think the answer to that is it depends on what you're giving up.
Yep. It's always
Right.
cost. It's always going to come down to that. Like, it doesn't matter what the move is. Like, if it's a really, really good player, you're still analyzing what it would cost. And if it's somebody that's not as well known, you're still worried about what will it cost to get the player. So I think it does matter. If he doesn't smell anything good coming his way, he probably would not do it. But the fact that they are exploring it, I think it makes you believe they want somebody. Like, there's definitely a name or two out there that they'd be interested in, I would think. Um, so we'll see. Somebody on Twitter had posted that, there were a couple of edge rushers from the Eagles. Maybe they'd be willing to part with one of them. They have Sweat and Barnett. I don't know if those are likely candidates, but I would be down for that because they're young. It wouldn't cost like a crazy amount of draft capital to get them, I would imagine. And they're young. I don't want. I will go ahead out on a limb and say I'm not very comfortable with the idea of giving up a second rounder for Chandler Jones. He's 31. He's coming off of an injury, and dude, he massively, massively productive in his career. He's just under 100 career sacks. I don't know if you realize that. Dude is like on the precipice, and that's a huge mark for an edge guy. He was dominant. He had I think it was 5 or 6 seasons in a row with double-digit sacks. It was crazy. But again, it's a risky move because you're giving up valuable draft capital for a player who may be definitely on the decline. Like, there's no doubt, that has to cross your mind. Doesn't mean he will be on the decline, but he could be on the decline. And so that's a little bit concerning. Mike Galizia had a good comment. And he said, it's odd that came out. Nothing usually comes out of JD. And I think that's telling. Maybe JD wants people to know because he's in the market for one. And it's kind of like a grand announcement, like, hey, if you got defensive ends, send them my way. Send offers my way, that kind of thing. He doesn't really care if people know that he's interested in a defensive end. I think, if anything, he would be happy because he might get some more offers that maybe traditionally wouldn't come his way. Vervain, that's actually kind of who I'm hoping for at this point. If we're going to trade for somebody, get somebody young. He's only 25 years old, this Derek Barnett kid. And they just drafted him in the first round a couple of years ago. He hasn't been a monster. I don't think he, he's like around 5 sack year kind of guy.
So is Lawson, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true. And so I'm okay with making that move, especially because he's young and there's some upside. And I don't know how much it would cost. I wouldn't really know how to guess on that one. So probably a third, but I don't know.
Would you give up more than a third?
No, I don't
for
think.
anyone?
No, I don't think I would. I want to keep the 2 firsts and the 2 seconds because those are 4 really premium draft picks, and we need to continue to add to the team. And I just think that they're too valuable. So I would say a third or less for any defensive end is fine with me. I would be comfortable giving up a third. I would be comfortable giving up a third and maybe even a fifth or a sixth. Like, don't get too crazy with your offer. Don't give up all of your draft capital, but I think it's an okay move to make if the player is young. If you're trading for a veteran that's aging, it freaks me out a little bit. It makes me worried. Um, we're
Yeah,
gonna do,
that's like a Mike Tannenbaum move and not
yeah,
really a Joe Douglas move.
yeah, that's kind of how I see it too. All right, we'll get to the chat. Malcolm Harper, he says Dante Fowler. I would be fine with him if he's available. Let's get him. Gitmo says it shows you how smart JD is to keep money under the cap. Gitmo Bob, this is a great comment. We were all, and I will throw myself into it, we were all kind of wondering why we were sitting on this money kind of all offseason. We talked a lot about it. Why aren't the Jets making a move? Why aren't they signing a cornerback? And I think this is very poignant comment because, or a poignant comment because that's what Joe Douglas was trying to be prepared for, I would imagine, or at least that's what I would hope for, is to be able to make moves, to have future flexibility. It's one of the things that I talk a lot about with JD is he always wants to have an option moving forward. It's not just about the now. And so that cap space could become valuable now, which is a great comment. Frankie, I agree with you. JD, if it comes out, he wants it out. He wants people to know about it. Frankie, I do have to apologize to you. I kind of like when we were watching the game yesterday, I said that the fullback Wesco wasn't a weapon. And I think initially I tried to like shut you down. And then I realized while I was like mid sentence, I was like, wait a minute. I know what he's trying to say now. Wesco is a weapon because he's a viable receiver. And so I just want to quickly make sure you know I wasn't trying to shit on you or anything like that. So, Gitmo, everyone knows the Jets need, which could jack the price up. That's true, but if we're interested, like if we have the whole NFL's interest, we shouldn't have to, outbid. If we're the only team really looking for one, that's the only thing is there's not a huge market right now. So, Stephen Engel, that's like saying, don't speak unless spoken to. All right, I got to look through these chats here. All right, good. Mike's right. I don't want to rent a player for a first or a second, and I don't even want to pay a second for Chandler and then have to sign him to a contract.
No,
That
no,
doesn't seem like a JD move, right? Giving up
it's not.
capital and
No,
money.
no, that's not happening. That's not happening.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think at most we might give up a third, but even that's a little high for JD. I think if anything, he does have that Eagles connection still, so they're a very viable trade partner.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have enough. We've seen enough from JD at this point to be able to put our faith in him that he's going to make the right move or the right non-move if that's the case here.
Yep. You gotta know
If the
when.
market's just not there.
You gotta know when to fold them, right? Kenny
Yeah.
Rogers. Russell.
Know when to walk away, know when to
Yeah,
run.
yeah, exactly. Russell says, do New Yorkers have any more respect for BYU? I think that program's looking pretty decent. I think they're actually expected to have a pretty good, group this year. They lost Wilson, obviously, but I think the team is pretty good. The program is definitely looking stronger than it has. I think so, personally. So, and they have a good coach. Sneaker to boots. I think JD will go off potential if we sign someone. I agree. I don't see him reaching for a vet that's going to take playing time that's kind of like a rental piece. I think he's going to look for somebody that can play for at least a couple of seasons with upside. I think that's what he's all about is going for the home run, not necessarily worried about the move flopping. Gitmo Bob, it'll be harder for JD to fleece a team. That's true, and that's fair. I do agree with that. Definitely a fair take. Kev Chada, what's up? Forget trading picks. This year is not about wins and losses. Only Crowder makes sense to trade for a pick, not an edge. And maybe that's the trade. We don't know. Maybe they would do that. And I'm gonna take this bandana off. I think that would be the move, actually. Maybe JD would try to push Crowder in the trade so that he's not having to give up picks. I don't personally hate that. And I don't personally love that because I like the idea of Zach having like a multitude of weapons, but I would understand it if they're getting somebody back who's young.
Absolutely, that depends on the who in that situation.
Yep. Thomas, we're going to be talking on Wednesday about that, so I hope you turn in, my man. I hope you turn in on Wednesday. We're going to talk all about that stuff. All right, let's move on. We're going to go to topic number 1. Whoops, that was the wrong button. Let's try that again. There we go. Zach Wilson takeaways. The chat. I want everything. I want what you saw as far as his reads. I want to know what you saw in terms of the touchdown passes, what you saw on that unfucking believable throw he had from around the 50-yard line, midfield, throws it across the field to the right sideline. That's a really difficult throw to do, period, let alone on the run. And he put the ball on the face of Corey Davis. It was an unbelievable game. There were so many very impressive throws. We know the competition wasn't, unbelievable last night. The Packers benched 32 of their starters, I think, or something like that, or 32 of their, premium players. He looked good though. He showed his talents, and I think that's what gets me so excited about Zach Wilson is the talent that he clearly has. What are your takeaways from last night's game, Chad?
Honestly, this would be like we would be on cloud nine right now talking about Zach Wilson and the offense if it wasn't for the whole Lawson injury. Like I'm still hungover from the Lawson injury. Like I can't get over it. It's just devastating to me. But staying on topic, I loved what I saw last night. What was he? 9 of 11. I didn't see. I mean, and look, I'm no expert, but I didn't see one bad throw. I didn't see one bad read. We finally got to saw a little bit of that magic that we did see at BYU, and a couple of those throws that we did see at his pro day. When he rolled out to the right and he hit Corey Davis down the sideline, that was perfect. I just dream of seeing that during the regular season. I don't know realistically how much more we could have expected to see from him in 2 preseason games. I think he's looked great. At this point, I have no concerns whatsoever. I want to wrap him in bubble wrap, put him in storage, and bring him out in Carolina. I don't want him to take another preseason snap. I don't want him doing any joint practice stuff, getting any accidental hits. I don't want anything like that. I don't even want him driving. I want somebody else driving him. I want him in the back of the car, getting driven around. So I've seen enough. Shut it down until the season.
You want to drop the puppy off at the puppy salon. That's what you want to do. You want him to be pampered and taken care of and not really have to lift a finger,
That's our future right there. Wear number 2 with the headband. That is, make no mistake about it. This franchise future is in this guy's hands.
Sneaker to boots. This is a back to the previous topic, but I'm happy to talk about it. He said defensive end will be definitely one of those top 4 picks for us next year. I don't think he's wrong. I think I'm expecting a lot of offensive line and defensive line. As long as Joe Douglas is here, he's going to draft a lot of players on the lines. So let's see. Need all of the receivers. Steven Engels says, I kind of agree. That's why I don't really love the idea of trading Crowder. I don't hate it, but I don't really love it because, again, I've been kind of steadfast in that take. We should keep him for Zach Wilson's benefit. I know it's his last year of his contract, but I think the value is keeping him and letting him play with Zach. Jeremy Cravat says after the second drive, it was as if they finally let Zach loose out of the pocket and bam. That was pretty much the first play we really saw him let it rip down the field, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. And I mean, it was just for us, anytime we have a new quarterback and they drop back and they just launch it, we're all like, oh God, here we go again. What's going to happen? And it worked and he looked great. And I got to disagree with Isaac right. No, I don't want to see him because in another quarter in the preseason, I'm sorry, because this franchise does not have this is a cursed franchise. I know that most of the people that are watching are old heads like us. They've been around forever or whatever. But if you're in any way new, you got to understand that this franchise is literally cursed. I'm not exaggerating. They are cursed in every way possible. So no, I've got the best rookie quarterback prospect that I've seen arguably in my lifetime. No, I don't want him to take another meaningless preseason snap at all. I want the guy in bubble wrap. I want him in those, those packing peanuts
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I want him carried around in 8,000 of those things until the Panthers game.
All right, so I'll go to the chat after I talk a little bit. There's a lot of good comments. Guys, thank you for filling it up. And guys, if you're here, go ahead and jet up the like button. 16 likes right now. We've got 40 people watching. Do us a favor, support the stream, support the channel. Give us those likes. That helps us. Um, so my take on Zach Wilson and just like takeaways that I had in general, I feel like he has such clean throwing motion, and we talked a little bit about it already. He just gets the ball out so easily, and he's very accurate. I feel like, we saw that one play where he threw it at Corey Davis's feet, and you saw him turn around and he was like laughing at himself, kind of like, that's such bullshit. I shouldn't have thrown it that badly. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he was almost laughing at the fact that he had a mistake. Like, he looks very, very accurate. He looks very, very strong armed. He can make all of the throws. And the first touchdown pass to me was potentially more exciting and impressive than the one that he had from the midfield mark. When you watch the play, he had his eyes away from Tyler Kroft right before he threw. He switched to Tyler Kroft. He put his eyes on him, and he released the ball very, very quickly. There was zero hesitation. You watch that play closely, and if you have already watched it, I give you kudos. The quick eyes and the quick decisions, this is what we heard about from the people at Jets X Factor. And that's why I wanted James on my channel, so I could get him to talk about, these types of things. He knows more about it than I do, but I can see when things like that are happening, and it absolutely is encouraging to see him making those quick decisions on the field. A lot of young guys would hold the ball there, guys.
It's I it's like they say with a guy like the size of Becton, that when it comes to, I mean, look, the quarterback is the hardest position in all of sports, and there's maybe 20 guys in the world that can do what he does at a high level. And I don't want to get optimistic, because every time I get anywhere close to optimistic with this team, I get crushed. But it really looks like we might have something here. And I know we haven't taken a snap in the regular season yet, but you can't, just like you were describing, the way he looked, the way he gets rid of the ball, the way he analyzes and knows what's going to happen. That's the kind of stuff you don't teach. Yeah, you can break down film 80 hours a week and have the best coaches, but you can't teach that kind of gift that this kid has. And I think for that reason, we've got a reason to let ourselves be a little bit optimistic here.
And before I get to the chat, one last thing. It's a mental game with quarterbacking. Like, they're all pretty talented with throwing the football, but they have to know the game inside out, every direction you could imagine. And it looks like he's got that. On that same throw where he made the quick read, did you notice he put the ball to the left of Kroft so he would have to adjust because the safety was on the other shoulder? Like, those are the little things that he's picking up instantaneously. And again, it gets me giddy just thinking about it. All right, so we got Mike, and he says, looks comfortable, good pocket presence, accuracy, looks comfortable with Davis. Early in camp, and it was very early, there were reportings that they were not in sync. And so I think it's showing you the fact that they are going to work out those kinks, and it's not going to be like a persistent thing. They definitely look like they're connecting. And that strike that he had on that like in-cutting route on the third down play where he just completely like zipped it in there, he put that shit right on the money. There was no adjustment that needed to be made by Corey Davis. He caught it and was able to make some yards after the catch. Like, that's what makes a quarterback good: accuracy and then knowledge of the game. And he's showing those two things, and that's what's getting me crazy. So
And honestly, even the incomplete third down was right on the money. Uh, but I forget his name. But the Green Bay corner just made a hell of a play. You got to stand on the ball. I mean, that's going to happen.
yeah, Eric Stokes, first rounder out of Georgia. All
Okay.
right. We're going to go to Braden. I want to see him make a pass into the end zone next game. I mean, technically he did with that first touchdown pass. I know it was at the goal line, but man, he's got it. He'll throw some passes in the end zone. Don't worry. Uh, Looking like we found a reliable kicker. That is one of our topics. We will go over that later. If you have to go during the show, check it out later. No worries. El Veraldo says Zach Wilson not exciting like those running QBs, Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson. He's boring like Tom Brady and Marino. Dude, I'm fine with being bored. If that's what boring is, let me be bored to death. Yeah, I think he can move a little bit. I think he's not like a Justin Fields. He's not like a Lamar Jackson, but he can move. He can run that's what Aaron Rodgers can do too. Aaron Rodgers can run a little bit himself, and that makes him even more of a weapon. So
Yeah, we prefer that he didn't, but it's good to know that he can.
yeah, Aaron Rodgers doesn't typically take big hits. He'll run for a first down and he slides down. Like that's enough of a weapon, dude.
Did you see that hit that Justin Fields took
Yeah,
on, what was it, Friday or Saturday?
it was disgusting. I mean, the guy hit him with the crown of his helmet on the side of his helmet. I don't know how he didn't get knocked out, to be honest.
And like, you want to know why I don't want Zach playing another preseason game? Look at that hit that Justin Fields took.
Yeah, that one will make your heart sink into your guts. So, let's see. I want to see AVT and Elijah Moore on the field in Philly. No Zach Wilson.
100%.
I don't know. I'm actually starting to trend towards the idea of it. If they haven't played at this point, just let them sit the last week. I know AVT and Elijah Moore maybe could use a couple of reps. If you want to do that, that's fine. But I would not. I wouldn't give them a lot of run, to be honest with you. They've been practicing with these players or with this team. AVT, I guess maybe more so than Elijah Moore because he's been out longer. But I would rather just sit Elijah. I think Elijah Moore is ready. I think.
Well, I don't totally disagree, but the only argument I can make for that is because I want to see him on the field, and B, I want updates for both of these guys. I understand that the salary regime doesn't want to give too much information now, but how long can you keep saying that someone is day to day? By my last count, ABT's been day to day for like 2.5 weeks or something. I mean, at what point do we start to get worried? I don't even remember what it was. Was it a pectoral or a shoulder or something like that? I remember hearing it was some upper body thing. And then no, I mean, with Elijah Moore, it's just, yeah, you're right. I mean, Frankie, I mean, in an existential sense, yes, we are all day to day, um, but no, I'm just excited to see Elijah Moore. You know, he was the biggest offensive story of training camp, and I really want to see what the offense looks like with this guy. I mean, it could be awesome to see. So I'm impatient.
That's the thing that people need to remind themselves. What you have seen in the first two preseason games has been without both of those dudes, and they are big time players on this team. Elijah Moore and Elijah Vera Tucker can change the offense truly. Like they can make it even better. So get your seatbelts buckled. I think it's going to be some points scored this season.
Well, we better score some points because the defense isn't stopping anybody.
It might not. We'll see. I don't know. If they make a move and if they, again, maybe they start to, get the other, like Quentin Williams is coming back. Sheldon Rankins needs to come back. We need those guys. They're part of the pass rush. Like that'll change, the team alone. If you think about it from that perspective, they haven't even played either. So
are you good with Quentin not playing at all against
no.
the Eagles?
He doesn't even need to play. No. All right, let's keep going here. CD on repeat all day. Yeah, the Corey Davis stuff has been great. He looks like he's got a chip on his shoulder even a little bit too. Like he's been spinning the ball in the preseason after like every catch. He's got a little bit of an attitude, a little streak to him. I like that though. That's like exactly what we need on offense is some spark and some attitude, an identity. Man, this team has lacked an identity on offense for years. We need to get back to having some form of aggression and excitability and fun on offense. That's like completely necessary.
I don't think I that would be so foreign to us. That would be something that we haven't seen.
A
I
lot.
would say since I mean you could throw 2015 in there, but for a real exciting like can put up 40 on you any given week, I'd have to go back to Brett Favre 2008.
Yeah, that we were putting up a bunch of points on people that year for sure. I was just as excited for the Jets kicker as I was for Zach Wilson. 3 for 3, 54 yards. Yes, we will be hitting that tonight. I'm almost wondering if we should just screw the topics and just hit what people want to talk about. What do you think about that?
That's fine. You
Yeah,
know, it's Sunday night. We're taking it easy. We're chilling.
yeah, that's how I feel too. All right, so kicking game. We can talk about. And by the way, guys, thank you so much for putting in too many chat. I can't even keep up with you. Thank you for always being active, throwing in what your takes are. That makes our show better. I promise you. It's better to have too much than to have too little. So thank you for loading up the chat. The poll, I just want a quick update on that one. Thanks to everybody who's been voting. There is a poll. If you haven't voted, go ahead and vote on it. The other day, who was your top performer? Right now, Corey Davis is just blowing the poll up, 68% of the votes. So I think that's fair to say. Aside from Zach Wilson, he looked really damn good. Kicker. What did you think about Matt Amendola? Do you guys think that we need to go and get Jose Borregales? Like I'm still wondering if maybe Jose has proven more, in his, training camp and preseason. I don't know that maybe we need to just keep the guy who's been playing well on our team. Chad, what do you think? Matt
I want
Amendola, or are you gonna make a move for Jose? Because a week ago we were talking about we need to get Jose.
That's right, and I don't want to oversimplify it because especially when it comes to special teams and kickers, things can change rapidly. That being said, so far so good with Matt Amendola. We will be needing a reliable kicker. Everybody needs a reliable kicker. Um, Look, if I trust in Douglas to make the right move. If he sees a guy like Borregales on the waiver wires and he's available, and you want to bring him in for some extra competition, just in case, then yeah, sure. But right now, until proven otherwise, I'm rolling with Matt Amendola.
Okay. And I think that's fair. And we still have another game to play, and he's the only kicker on the team right now, so he's going to get all of those kicks as well. So they can still assess him and Jose, and then they can make their decision. Personally,
Exactly. Right. Right. And it's different obviously for a kicker than it is for anybody else. It just is. I don't mind him playing the entire preseason game. That's totally fine. I want him. I actually want like I was grateful when we ended up going for a 54-yarder with the first kick last night because I want to see what it looks like. Now I want to see what it looks like when he's under some pressure, when there's a full capacity fans out there, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see what he looks like when there's some weather to deal with too. So yeah, I want him getting those reps.
okay, fair enough. Chat, why don't you guys let us know? Oh, you know what? Let's do this. I'll end the poll because this is a new thing now. I can actually be a little bit more interactive with you guys. We can even throw some polls in there, maybe. Oh, wait a minute. Why isn't that letting me do a poll? Hold on. Oh, now it works. Okay, sweet, because the other one was just ended. Okay, 40 votes, and Corey Davis, 69% of the votes. He killed it. Let's do an Amendola or Borregales. All right, I just threw you another poll, and the new poll is would you want Amendola or would you like Borregales as the kicker after week 3 preseason? I think it's going to be a really interesting debate online because there's a good chance Borregales is sitting there, man. And what do you do? Chad's saying he would stick with Matt Amendola. I honestly think I might stick with Matt Amendola and just kind of hope that maybe Borregales doesn't get picked up, but I don't know, man. Is there going to be a team that's hungry for a kicker? Probably, right? There's other teams that like kickers. So I don't know. It's just an interesting decision that they have to make. Um,
Did you mean to have the
oh,
answers
yeah,
listed as
no,
yes or no?
no, I did not. But Amendola can be yes, and Borregales can be no. We'll do it that way. I do apologize. I didn't quite finish the poll. I got too excited. I wanted to poll out there as fast as I could.
It's a live show, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll end it. We'll end it. I'll create a new one. It's fine. Let's go to the comments while that's loading up. Braden says he still does want Borregales, which, I mean, you might be right, man. That might be the better move. I don't know. I don't. That's a tough decision to make. Kicker Amendola, Borregales. I can create polls. I promise. All right. Both are for a final duel. Now we might not have that opportunity, Jeremy, because right now we have the last preseason game, and Borregales probably won't be cut until after the third preseason game. So we have to decide, I think, now. Like the Jets need to make that, like they need to make their mind up before cuts because there's not going to be any time. And if they put him on the practice squad, JD needs to know, okay, this is one of our top priorities. So it's going to be interesting. I did put the poll back up. Go ahead and fill it up. Right now, Amendola is crushing in the voting. Let's see what other people say. Anthony Alvarez, says Amendola has the stronger leg. Depends on how next week goes. I think that's the correct take. If he's terrible this coming week, I think then you can kind of make the argument, okay, he choked. It was his opportunity. Let's go ahead and go to Borregales and just hope for the best. I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is. So
What would it take for you? 2 misses, 1 missed extra point?
I don't know, man. I think I'm actually with you on this one. I think I prefer Amendola just because right now he's on the team and he's kind of earned the job. You know what I mean? Like he's done his job, as of the last 2 weeks. And Gitmo Bob had a pretty funny post earlier. He was saying Jets fans would be happy if a kicker hits 2 extra points. Like we had that problem with Vedvik. He missed an extra point and 2 field goals in opening week of 2018. So, I'm sorry, 2019. What if the Bucks keep Borregales and let Suckup go? Would you go with Suckup? I believe they just signed or extended him, did they not? Chat, can you confirm that? I'm pretty sure that Suckup just signed a contract with the Bucks, so I don't think it likely that that Borregales is retained over him. The voting is pretty clear and unanimous right now. It's a 92% advantage for Amendola. Like people are saying, that's the guy that we should be keeping. And Jeremy Chrebet is confirming it. 3-year deal for Suckup. I mean, could they cut him? I guess they could, but it just doesn't seem likely after giving him the 3-year deal. I can't remember the last time a Jets kicker had a perfect game. Whew. I think Ficken may have actually had a couple last year. He didn't get a lot of field goal attempts, and he definitely didn't get a lot of extra point attempts. This team wasn't scoring a lot of touchdowns, and he didn't miss too many kicks last year. So, Ficken.
It's a shame because the potential for kicking Ficken was just through the roof,
Yeah.
and
Kicking, Ficken, chicken. It could be like
yeah.
they could have done like a chicken shop, a little chicken sandwich place. So, all right, we'll move on. Looks like the chat has quieted on that. So we'll go on to our next topic. Wait a minute, we got one more person in there talking about kickers. Stephen Engel, he says, who was the kicker who went 7 for 7 in a game? That was the Titans, and I can't remember his freaking name. Josh Brown? Is that? I don't think that was who it was. They had a kicker. Who was the Titans kicker? Damn, it's going to drive me crazy. Haven't seen Borregales kick, so it's hard to evaluate him. We've seen Amendola. That's kind of my take as well. I think that's a fair one. We know what's in house, so let's keep with what we're familiar with. Jason Myers? I don't. Did he hit us? Oh, you're right. He did recently. The Seahawks kicker. Yeah, the guy that we let go. That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Vervain. Thanks for spicing up the chat. Yeah. Anyways, just kidding, Vervain. We will continue on. Nobody's really commenting on the kicker stuff. So right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk a little bit about the pass protection. What did you guys think about the? Again, we know that they had 32 players not playing, so they didn't have Preston Smith on the field. They didn't have Sedarius Smith on the field. Those are two really solid edge rushers for the Packers. What were your takeaways from the pass protection in the game versus the Packers, albeit against their backups? Chad, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
Yeah, I left that game not being as concerned, and I actually thought that Dan Feeney filled in pretty well at the left guard spot. At least I didn't see any pressures given up from him. So look, if I don't want Dan Feeney starting really in any capacity. I mean, nothing against him, but if this AVT thing turns out to be something bigger than it is or something longer than it is, I think we could be okay with him starting. I'd also I'm a little bit unsure still about Alex Van Roten starting at that right guard spot. He's probably my biggest question mark in yesterday's iteration of the starting five.
Okay, interesting. So I feel I feel like the offensive line did their job. First of all, like they didn't do anything wrong. Just because they were playing backups or whatever doesn't mean they perform poor. Like that would be the other thing. Could you imagine if they had played really badly against the backups? Like how sick would you feel then? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, as bad as I feel about the defense.
yeah, right. Ben Kurt was good for the Packers though. That quarterback was pretty solid. Did you watch him at all?
Yeah, I watched him make our starting defense look like a little league team. It's embarrassing.
He was pretty good though, man. I give him props. He had a couple of really impressive throws, I thought. He was moving with his legs. He got a little bit clunky near the end. He was falling down a lot, but I was pretty impressed with Benkert, so I'm not too worried about him making our defense look a little silly. But you're right though, it was against our starting defense, so not great. Um, how did Hodge play? I have no clue, man. I didn't have eyes on him at the end of the game. I think I mostly was looking at our running game, and that's we can just kind of jump to that if we want to. But I thought overall pass protection, they did their job. Number one, we still don't have AVT. That's another missing ingredient. And I still believe in people I believe in Becton, man. I know that like the practice like stuff is all like being reported and fans are freaking out. I'm not worried about it until I see it in a game. If he starts slipping in a game, then I'll go ahead and say, okay, something's going on with Becton. But because it's practice, dude, I don't give a shit. Let's wait. Let's wait and see what he really is like during the season before we start to like lose ourselves. You know what I mean?
Any reason to see Becton against the Eagles?
No. Anybody who's a plus starter, like somebody that you are counting on, I think should be not playing in that last game. I think just give everybody a chance to breathe. Don't make them take the big hits in the game. They're going to still be practicing after this preseason game. They're not done practice. There's like 12 days, I think, between the last preseason game and the regular season. So there's time to get, get warmed up and like, whatever. I just don't think a game's necessary personally. To refer back to Hodge, I don't know. I think the offensive line did do okay run blocking, later in the game. But as far as his responsibilities, I'm not sure. I'd have to rewatch it. It would be great if he made the team, wouldn't it? If he was somebody we could count on.
Well, I mean, and I'll take any reliable backups I can get on that front five.
So Jason Rhodes says thoughts on. I believe he's talking about Michael Carter, the running back.
I wanted to get to him. If I had a list a top five surprises, I mean he's one of them too. I love the way that this guy runs. He runs with purpose. He's a north and south guy, even though he's 5'8". You would expect to kind of see him, shuffling and juking around. I don't really see that, but he's got this sneaky kind of speed. I like it a lot. I think that you're going to see his workload get picked up towards the second half of the season, but so far, love what I'm seeing out of this guy. And in answer to somebody's question, it looks like the the roster cut deadline is going to be August 31st. So um,
They're
that'll
coming.
be the last day. Yeah, that'll be the last day we know who's. And what do we still have like 5 running backs right now?
I think we have I think 5 because of Josh Adams, right? Josh Adams
Yeah.
is fifth, I believe, and I don't think he even played last time, right?
Yeah, I don't think he saw any touches at all.
So I'll give you one comment, and then we have a celebrity in the stream we got to address. And so my takeaway on Carter is simply that the fact that he was playing further down, it just shows you Tevin Coleman's what his role is in this team. And when they signed him, I did not kick and holler and say he's the starter, but I did give the move a B. I gave it a B grade. I thought it was a solid move for $2 million. If he stays healthy, he's going to be, I think, pretty good. Not like all-star or anything like that, but I think he's going to be pretty good. He can receive the ball. He can line up as a receiver. They flexed him out a lot all over the place in Atlanta. So he's like a little bit of like a chess piece for our offense that a lot of people aren't talking about. Versatility. I think that matters in this offense. And again, I still think that we haven't even started to get to the creativity that I think is coming from LaFleur. I think there's going to be a lot of shit going on pre-snap. At least that's what I'm hoping. I want to see people moving, man. I don't want them just standing there like we saw with Gase. It was so annoying to watch our offense. Anyway, we got the Green Bean man himself. He is in here hanging out with you guys. Green Bean, I'll confess my love to you, man. I think you're just a super cool dude. Thanks for having me on your show. You are very, very easy to talk Jets to, and that's what this is all about. So thanks again for having me on there. It was a blast. Oh, let's see. It's not getting bumped down. They're rotating all the playmakers on offense. And that's a fair take too, Steven. I do read that a little bit more like Tevin Coleman, kind of like having a clear role. But I will say though, you're right. They are going to be committeeing this backfield. It's going to be all season long. They're going to be rotating these guys, and I am fine and dandy with that. I have no problem with that. I want to see Ty get touches. I want to see Tevin Coleman get touches, Michael Carter, and throw in a little sprinkle of Michael P. Ryan. I'm cool with it, man. If we're keeping 4 running backs, let's roll. Let's use them all too. Keep defenses off balance. I'm tired of defenses having they feel like they can predict what's going to happen with the New York Jets offense. I want our offense to be confusing as shit, and I want to score points. So
And I think Zach Wilson has the processor to not let that overwhelm him.
Yep.
Because we saw that in the Sanchez days with not Heimerdinger. Oh God, come on, the guy's son, Marty Schottenheimer.
Brian Schott.
Right, where they would do all this pre-snap shit, and it was confusing, and then they had to go back to the quarterback, the wrist thing for Mark. I don't think you're gonna deal with that too much with Zach Wilson. I think he's just the kid is sharp. I think he can handle it, even in his rookie year.
I forgot about Sanchez's binky.
Yeah,
His little pet.
they had to do the what was it, red, yellow, and green.
I don't remember. I remember something was color coded though for him. All right, Vervain, nothing certain except for death taxes and Jason hating on Michael Carter. You are right. He does not like Michael Carter, and I'm glad that you know that. We all know that. Listen, maybe Jason Rhodes knows something, man. Let's not throw shade yet because the story has not been told quite yet. Let's see. Yeah, I agree. Rotating them, giving them all opportunities. I don't read too much into the Michael Carter playing near the end of the game. It's kind of like the same thing with Denzel Mims. Like, let's just rotate our guys. Let's all give them all opportunities, kind of thing. Let's see. This is where the party is. Thank you guys. Everaldo, thank you so much. If you guys have not hit the like button, please do so. I would greatly appreciate that. Everybody's just talking to Green Beanie. That's okay. Dennis Montalvo, it's good to see you in the chat. Don't recognize you, but it's good to see you. It looks like they will have to cover the defense and keep them off the field and work the clock. They don't look hot. And listen, maybe we're making a move, man. Maybe we're making a move here before the season. Maybe it'll be a little bit of a boon for the defense. We don't know. But again, just try to remind yourself it is just preseason. I'm telling you, that is a guarantee. Like, it doesn't mean that our defense is going to be great because it's just preseason, but we don't know what's going to happen. Like, just based on what we saw yesterday really doesn't tell the story. You have to in the regular season.
Speaking of which, Jared Davis looks like an ankle.
Yep.
But it, as of yesterday, and I guess we'll find out more in tomorrow's post-practice press conference, but as of yesterday, he was questionable to come back in. He walked off on his own power. So, knock on wood, it doesn't look like anything too serious right now.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, that would be great. We need our linebackers, man. We don't have too many. It's kind of similar to the edge position. Jason Rhodes, no worries. Wasn't hating. I really thought he just needed a year or so before becoming RB1. I still feel like he will take it over by midseason. That's kind of been my take all year. I think midseason, if he makes a couple of plays, I think they're going to give him more work. I could be way wrong on that. So Green Bay was asking about Jared Davis, and I believe Chad just delivered that news. So hopefully that's the case. Stephen Engel's saying it could be a couple of weeks because ankle injuries typically take some time to heal, even if it's just a minor sprain. We'll see, man. I think we do need him. I think it's going to hurt our defense to not have him week 1. That would not be good to go against Christian McCaffrey without, our starting linebackers.
Yeah, I can't even. I don't even want to think about being out with not having Jared Davis on this defense right now. I just can't. I mean, yes, I know Quinnen's coming back, but is there a site that just tracks all injuries like over the course of years? I mean, are we the most injured team? I mean, I know that 49ers went through hell last year, but
Chargers have been often injured for a long time now.
I mean, it's just what is it? Is it the training staff? Is it the nutrition staff? Like what are they doing? Like it sucks. I don't get it. But I mean, if they have to shut him down for week 1, week 2, I mean, for the rest of the season, remember it's a 17-week season now. I guess I'll take it.
Yeah. Dennis is thanking me for pronouncing his name correctly. No worries. Daniel says, don't you think it's ridiculous that Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones have barely played at all? That's a good question. It's kind of like a can of worms there. So not really though. The new thing I think in the NFL is actually not having your guys play. I think young teams like the Jets are playing their players because they know they can, gain something from it. But, as far as I understand, Sean McVay, I don't think he ever played his starting quarterback during the preseason, even when they were, going to the playoffs. So it may be one of those things, kind of like a trend in the NFL, where they're starting to maybe just say, look, there's really not a whole lot of benefit. There's only tragic, bad things that can happen, by them getting hurt in the preseason. I don't know. I don't know how I take it, but I don't think it's too crazy. I just think that teams are trying to be cautious, and practice, is where most of the learning happens anyway. You can learn some during a preseason game, but not for veterans. Usually you would, he's already experienced what a preseason game is like, so he really just needs the practice field to work on his craft, learn the game, that kind of stuff. Solomon Jets, it's good to see you in the chat, man. It's been a while. He says, any news on the injuries yesterday? I think that the McDermott one might end up being serious, but we don't know that for sure. Right now we're hearing that Jared Davis has an ankle, and we don't really know the severity still. It's not going to be a season-ending injury, but it's not necessarily a short-term one either. Just gotta wait.
So as of yesterday, on Jared Davis, Robert Sauer said uh, the initial prognosis is positive, but he has to get more tests done. So
Yeah,
I'm assuming we'll find out a little bit more of something tomorrow after practice.
fair enough. All right, cool. Tragic. Yeah, the Jets are learning that the hard way this training camp. Yeah, and things can go bad, man. Listen, the Jets are not the only team that has incurred really serious injuries. I think back to the Chargers. They lost Derwin James and like a bunch of other dudes preseason last year. They were really hurt, the last couple of seasons, and it sucks. It really, really sucks because you haven't even played a game yet and you're already losing dudes. It just doesn't feel good. Just tuned in. Was the Adam a heftier tweet discussed yet? The Adam Schefter tweet? Yes, we did discuss it. It was near the beginning of the show. We talked a little bit about, who we could be trading for and, you know, whether or not we would be comfortable doing it depending on the price, that kind of thing. We did discuss that though. Love your reaction to Zach's touchdown pass yesterday. I have to find that reaction. Was it online somewhere? I'll have to look that up. No worries, Tommy. I could figure it out after I read it out loud. Really, when it was misspelled, I finally was able to tell what you were saying. Yeah, the kicker looks pretty good, BC. Thanks for joining us, by the way. I don't recognize you. It's good to see you in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Anybody that's watching this right now, go ahead and jet it up, that like button. And again, if you're new, subscribe to the channel. We love having you here. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us. We have talked a lot, but we have not talked really anything at all about Brandon Echols, and I kind of wanted to talk about him. He has not come up yet. So people in the chat, I'm going to create another poll while Chad talks about some of these, Brandon Echols, but I want to hear what you think about potentially him being a starter, overtaking maybe a Blesson Austin. What are your thoughts on him, maybe even being the third cornerback, on the team? What are your thoughts on him in general? Go for it.
I thought he looked good. That's in my books, that's 2 good games in a row for Brandon Echols. I mean, yes, he had the great pick yesterday, which we all focused on, but I also thought he had great coverage. Now, in this defense, I think he's going to get an opportunity to start, if not over Bless Austin, then over Bryce Hall. I think he's certainly going to make the team, and I think he's going to get those opportunities, especially in those dime and nickel packages where you're going to come out with 3 corners. And I think in a way he's benefiting from our lack of consistent depth at the cornerback position, right? So while it does suck that we don't have those good, reliable cornerbacks right now, he could benefit because he's going to get more reps. And more reps is always going to help a young cornerback like Brandon Echols. So I like what I see so far, and I'm hopeful for the future.
Yep. No, he's looked pretty good. I mean, the interception's kind of like the cherry on top. Even if he hadn't had that interception, I still would have been feeling pretty good about the games that he's played. But I do kind of agree with Mr. Gazington. He says Echols did well, but I still think that Austin is our guy. He was playing kind of like in the second half, right? Like Echols wasn't really in the first half so much. So I tend to believe that like if you're starting, a game in preseason on defense, pretty sure you're going to be the starter week 1. Not always, but in this case, I believe Austin is still going to get his shot to be the starter. I predicted that for the training camp battles video that I did a few weeks ago. I don't think he keeps the job, though. That's kind of been my take, is like he's going to get the starting job, but it's going to be one of those things like how long can he keep it?
Well, Mama Austin might have something to say about that.
Yeah, so Green Bean, if you're still watching, I had Blasson Austin's mom comment on one of my videos referring to Blasson Austin. I was not negative. I wasn't saying he was a bad player, and she came after me. Mama Claus came out, and she wasn't too happy. But anyways, I still think Blasson Austin's the outside cornerback opposite Bryce Hall, week 1. How long he keeps that job, I have no idea. He could keep it for a couple of weeks. He could keep it all year. My guess would be he keeps it for at least a few weeks, maybe by like week 5. I think he might start losing some reps and definitely maybe the starting job as well. Yeah, Green Bay. I thought you'd like that. Yeah, it's a little crazy. She was hot. She was upset. Let's see. There is a poll right now, guys, in the chat. Aside from Bryce Hall, who do you want starting week 1? Right now, Austin is the early vote getter. Eccles second. Pinnock third. Gitmo Bob. Whoa, that's a big chat. Let's zoom this down. There's Jude Jets. Oh my God, Jude Jets. You better not leave until I can get to your comment. If you leave, I'm going to be disappointed, young man. Gitmo Bob says, do we have to reevaluate the season expectations with the loss and injury? Do we wait and see who JD obtains, if anybody? I think he should get somebody. We kind of talked about that a little bit already. What are your real quick, Chad? Do you?
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's what was so crushing about it. I mean, look, we can't sugarcoat this thing. It's devastating. I mean, I've been depressed since Thursday over this thing. It's just, it's absolutely, I mean, other than obviously something happened to Zach, this is the worst thing that could have happened to the team. So yeah, I mean, if you look back at it, it's probably going to cost us a couple wins this year, to put it simplistically. But again, this is still not a playoff team. Okay, so I mean that's the good news. But at the same time, yes, I want JD to go out and get somebody if the price is right and the conditions are right, because I want the statement to be made that this is not a team that's going to roll over. This is a team that's going to compete. We didn't like what we saw from the defense last night, and we need somebody to come in and stop the run, get after the passer, and I want them to compete, and that's what I want to see. And going out and get somebody like a Chandler Jones or the guy from the Eagles we were talking about is going to help make that happen.
Yep, I'm with you. So we got another celebrity. This is the Jude Jets show. Jude is he's a kid, and he makes Jets content on YouTube, and he's got a following, man. So if you're in this chat right now and you like as much Jets content as you can get, check out this dude's channel and support him. It's good to see you in the chat, my man. He says, I don't think Eccles, whoa, sorry, that's a really big picture of you. I do apologize. It says, I don't think Eccles will start. We play DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson week 1, and having a 6th-round rookie play against them doesn't sit well with me. Want some experienced guys out there. And yeah, and maybe, in this case, Blasson Austin's kind of like he's the sacrificial lamb here. We're putting him out there so he can get burnt, not these other kids. I hope that's not the case, though, by the way. I think that Blasson could do okay. Just depends, though. We need to get a pass rush going. Thank you, Jude Jets, for stopping by. It's good to see you, man. Let's keep going. Who's the slot corner? I think it's Michael Carter the second, but I don't know, man. It's a good question. Maybe. Oh, you know what? I changed my mind. I apologize. It's Javelin Guidry, and he's played good. Wouldn't you say?
I think so. He's definitely going to make the team. I think the question is who's not going to make the team right now. I mean, the only guy that I think is pretty much on the bubble is probably Lamar Jackson as far as the corners are going. But yeah.
Yeah, Mike Pinnock I think he got hurt. I don't even think he played in this last game, so that's probably why we haven't heard a whole lot from him. He's been quiet at practice too, I would say as well. There's not been a lot of noise about Pinnock this offseason. Anthony Galeros, I like Eccles too. I think he might be the guy that ultimately will start games, but just not early in the season. Still believe the I still believe that Austin gets his shot as well. Jason Rhodes says, "Jude Jets, don't forget who's throwing the ball to them." Yeah, did you see Darnold like triple clutching to Robbie Anderson in the preseason game?
No, I didn't see anything from that game at all. What'd he do?
He was locking eyes on Robbie. He held the ball for a good amount of time, waiting for him to get open. It was interesting. He didn't really. I mean, maybe he wasn't supposed to leave that read, but it was his first read, and he laser eyes on Robbie. So
Do are there ghosts in Carolina too?
they might be out there. I don't know. That's true. No one has a single thing on Jude Zetz because he's got the youth, man. He's a kid. We all hate you because you're a kid. You have youth, my man. It's the best thing on the planet. Look at all of us old farts on here. We look like we hurt sitting here.
We do.
we Green Bean says second and a fourth for the perpetually injured Nick Bosa. Are you saying that you want to propose that trade? Green Bean, is this your account, sir? There is no way the Packers would do that. I wish that I was on your show. I could really disagree with you right now. I don't think that the 49ers would entertain that trade. If they did, I would be jumping for joy. I'll take a risk on an oft injured Nick Bosa any day of the week. What do you think, Chad, on that one?
That's I don't know. That sounds like more of a pipe dream than anything else. I think the biggest name that we could hope for realistically would be a Chandler Jones, but even I'm not sure about that if the deal is not right. Maybe Dante Fowler, but we'll see what they come up with.
Yeah, we got haters saying hi to everybody. Yeah, there's a lot of content out there right now. There's a lot of people watching right now that create content for the Jets. So it's super cool that we're all supporting each other.
And by the way, I mean we should point out like how great is that? I mean, like we're all roughly the same age. I mean, look when we were young, and when we were coming up watching games and stuff, we didn't there was no NFL Network, there was no Game Pass, there was no Direct TV. I mean, we had to read about the games in newspapers, and now you have like all this access. You've got all these content creators just like having fun doing stuff, talking about it whenever. It's a great as far as fandom is concerned, I can't imagine a better time to be a fan.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of good people out there, and there's a lot of good conversation. I think that comes from it too. Did you see the Fields hit? Yes, my God, we did. Braden's correct. Yeah, we're old and damaged. So there you go, Jude. Rub that salt in our wounds. Let's see. I just want Bosa evaluated. How bad is his current injury? It's the Niners wanting to recoup some of the draft capital they gave away for Lance. Okay. That could make some sense. And there were people that actually were interested if the Jets had traded back from 2. Like if they had decided to keep Sam Darnold, there were people that wanted the Jets to trade with the Niners to get Nick Bosa. Like that was a thing that people were talking about online. So it's not crazy that they would maybe trade him, but I don't know for that compensation. I think it would take more than that. Let's see. I agree, Chad. Much has changed. Incredible times we're living in for the good and the bad. This probably is very true as well. All right. This has been awesome. No worries, Green Bean. You have a good night, dude. Thanks for stopping by. So let's talk a little bit about week 3. We're going to do this on the Wednesday podcast, but I think it's okay because we only get Chad one day a week. What are some of the things you're hoping for week 3 preseason? Honestly, we just want to stay healthy. I know that's like the one that everybody wants to go to, but like let's really be specific here. Who are some of the guys that are on the bubble, on the depth, on the backup, part of the depth chart? What are your thoughts on who are you watching for, basically?
So I'm not opposed if he can get out there just to get a few reps, just to get his feet under him. I'd like to see AVT out there, if for no other reason than to let us have a sigh of relief, because I want to see him out there against the Panthers. If he doesn't get out there, it's okay, but I'd like to see that. Same thing for Elijah Moore. Put him out there for a series or two. I want to see his speed. I want to see him get used to the game. It's different for rookies. I think they do need to get out and have at least a little bit of experience before they get out in the big show, because there's nothing like week one in the NFL.
No.
Continuing on that, I want to see a couple more attempts by Matt Amendola. We like what we've seen so far, but I want to keep seeing it. I want to see it happen. And then Brandon Eccles, I want to continue to see him. And as far as I'm concerned, he could play. He could start and play the whole game. Because I'd like to see him get as much experience as possible. And then to wrap it up, I don't know what's going on with Mims. I know he had like another sort of injury situation.
It was from the scrimmage, I believe.
Yeah, but little bit concerned about Mims right now, just because there's been a lot going on with him this summer, and I'd like to see him get some traction.
That's a good point. No, that's a really good point. Actually, game 3 should be like his game, right? Because he's been playing so far down the depth chart. Like he should play a lot, right? Wouldn't you say?
He should. I mean, I know for a fact that Corey Davis shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, he should not.
Keelan Cole shouldn't be out there. So yeah, I mean, this should be Mims' time to shine, right? Yeah. So use this opportunity to get your feet under you, get your groove back, whatever you got to do. Silence all the doubters in Jetland about what's going on with you, Denzel Mims.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair take. I didn't really think about Denzel Mims as long as he's healthy, which I know that's what you're saying too. If he's healthy though, yeah, that would be great. I didn't think about that. Would love to see a little bit more of him maybe in the the first half and maybe even into a little bit into the third quarter. You're right, Frankie Berrios, he was hurt in the Giants game, didn't play. He played a little bit against the Packers. I don't know if he had too many catches. Do you mind looking that up, Chad, for me? So Berrios, he should get a lot of run. Vincent Smith should get a lot of run. Jeff Smith should get a lot of run. I'm trying to think if there's any other receivers that I'm missing on. But yeah, I want to see those guys play a little bit. I don't want to see Elijah Moore. I will agree with you on Elijah Vera Tucker. I could see the case being made like he needs to play next to Becton for a couple of plays or whatever, but I really don't see it as a big deal. I just feel like you got to do this, in a game and in practice, and they've been doing it in practice for a long time already. And I just don't think they're going to play Becton. So what's the benefit of having AVT out there by himself? You know what I mean?
So Braxton Berrios 2 grabs for 17 yards.
Okay, so he was involved a little bit. It would be good to see him get some more catches. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what they do at wide receiver. They have a lot of players that I think they like at that spot. And I think they're going to have to make some cuts that they don't want to have to make.
Do you want to find a way to keep Vincent Smith on the roster? Or are we just seeing a product of playing, third and fourth string DBs?
So this is where it gets really interesting. And this is where we might end up wrapping the show up because this will take a little bit. If they decide to use Crowder as a piece in a trade for an edge, that accomplishes not only the edge spot, it also accomplishes the roster spots. They can then keep Berrios and Smith, I would think, if they trade Crowder, right?
I want to keep both of those guys.
But I don't think you can. I don't think you keep 7 wide receivers. You could, I guess. But we're going to have to keep a lot of offensive linemen. We have to keep a lot of defensive linemen. We run a 4-3 now. And you need a lot of bodies to be able to rotate in that defensive line. So, can they keep 7? Potentially, but we already know we're keeping 4 running backs, a fullback, and at least 2 tight ends. So, again, we're keeping 2 QBs, so that's good. I don't think they're going to keep James Morgan. They might try to push him to the practice squad. So I don't know, man. I just don't know. I think if you trade Crowder, I think you definitely keep Berrios and Vincent Smith. I think they would both stick after that.
Who is
Out
like what wide receiver is like guaranteed to go right now?
on the team, Jeff
Yeah,
Smith probably, like, he's probably the one guy I would say, like, he's gonna probably get cut.
DJ Montgomery.
Yeah, he'll get cut. Yep. They are gonna have to make a tough choice, I think, and it could be Berrios. Berrios might be the one that gets cut if they don't trade Crowder. I think it might be Berrios gone. They might like Vincent Smith a little bit more because they've been featuring him. They've been featuring him early in games.
Yeah,
He's been out there, even in week 1. Um, maybe they had him playing the same kind of position that Elijah Moore was playing. I don't know. I have no idea. And maybe when Elijah Moore comes back, they're like, okay, see ya.
yeah,
It's going to be very interesting. I think I will say I'm looking more forward to the cuts than I am game 3 preseason because we will know the roster. We will know the depth chart pretty much. So that's going to be a really exciting time, is to finally know where people stack up on this team. Sorry, I'm a little bit misguided in my chat. Sorry about that. Alex Barisha said, got to go get an edge or throw away the season. I don't know if it throws away the season, Alex. They can get an edge rusher. I'm for getting an edge rusher. It wouldn't make me mad, but I don't think it ruins the season if we don't get one, because, again, we have so many things that our offense needs to accomplish by the end of the year. We need development from our offense. I know defense matters. It's half of the game, but we have stacked the offense heavily the last 2 drafts. 2 second-round picks and 2 wide receivers. 2 first-round picks and 2 offensive linemen. A quarterback number 2 overall. That's serious draft capital. This season really is about the offense. So if we don't get an edge rusher, I'll be disappointed because I think that it will hurt the defense a little bit. But the season ain't over. I would not say that. Let's see. Gitmo Bob. I would rather find Lawson's replacement from the free agent ranks or the cut list unless JD does his magic. He might do both. Try to keep in mind, we don't really know if Hamilka Rashid Jr. is even going to make the squad. Is he? He might, just because we need so many people. But, like, if he thinks there's somebody out there that's a better fit, for their need and their present need, they might make the move. If they really like him, they'll keep him, obviously. So we'll see. I don't know. Wouldn't trade Crowder. Great veteran presence. Michael, I hope you realize we're only speculating. I actually do prefer to keep Crowder because I think that it's too invaluable to take away a weapon from Zach in his rookie year. I would rather just keep the offense loaded up. Yeah, Jude, no chance. If they cut Denzel Mims, I will do a live stream from work, which, by the way, I don't know if you know this, Jude, I'm a teacher. So if you're screwing around, I'm going to know, young man, and I'm going to tell your parents because that's what I do. I make phone calls. So just be careful. Anyway, in all seriousness, no, we're not cutting Denzel Mims. Did you see our pass rush against Green Bay? None. It's true, Alex. It didn't look great. So you and me, we're not really disagreeing about the need. We're just disagreeing on the fact that there we go. Good laugh from you, hopefully. It's not that we don't have a need at edge. I agree with you. But the season wouldn't be useless or a punt season if we don't trade for somebody because, again, we're still building. We're currently still building, the Eiffel Tower here, whatever you want to call it, the Coliseum. It's going to take some time. And so, again, I'm for making a trade. I want them to trade for an edge. I think that would be a great move. Getting somebody like a Barnett, Sweat from Philadelphia, that'd be great. I don't want to trade big capital, though, for like a Chandler Jones. I think that's a mistake. We talked about that earlier in the show. John's playing Santa Claus to Jude. Yeah. I like it. All right, Christopher Merkovich. It's good to see you, dude. New to the channel. I'm pretty sure. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. Anybody that's here right now that's new to the channel, I do hope you consider subscribing. I would love it if you would hit the like button for me. This has been a lot of fun tonight. Christopher says the old angle Denzel Mims in Jamison Crowder as tray bait for an edge rusher. You want to trade both for an edge rusher? Is that what you're saying? I couldn't do that. If you're not saying that, let me know in the chat. But that would not be something I would be willing to do. I don't want to trade Denzel Mims.
I don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize Zach's development.
Yeah. Yep. So Jason Rhodes is saying with an edge, 6 wins, without an edge, 5 to 6 wins. I will be doing that video very soon after the Eagles game. I do start work this Wednesday, by the way, boys. I don't know. I haven't brought that up to you. Summer's over, fellas. Your boy has been not working this entire last 2 months. I'm back to the grindstone this week. So you'll see me a little bit grumpy on the Wednesday podcast because I will have worked that day. The smile will be fading, just like the leaves in the trees. Let's see. No one is afraid of the assistant principal, Jeremy. LOL. For real. I feel like, sorry, Jeremy, we're going to gang up on you here for just a second. I feel like assistant principal, and by the way, I do one day hope to become an assistant principal, so this is all a joke right now, but I feel like assistant principals are like, they're just like nerdy dads. Like, do you know what I mean? I feel like we just like, we wear our pants a little too high and a little too tight. Like, I feel like nobody's really afraid of us, Jeremy. Sorry. There you go. 7 to 9 wins, barring a catastrophic injury or injuries. Yeah, I'm still sticking to 6 to 8. I will make a final number prediction. Like, I'll give an actual number, not a range, once the preseason is over. And once I know who's on the team, I will then do my, my final prediction. Dennis, thank you for subscribing tonight, my man. I really appreciate that. All right. That means summer's coming down here. Yay. No, not yay, Braden. Stop it. The summer is the most glorious time for a teacher. You don't understand. It's the lifeblood of our being. We wouldn't do the job without a summer vacation. That's like you go into teaching knowing that, and that's like a huge perk for what we do. So all right, Chad, I feel good about the conversation tonight. This was a lot of fun. Preseason week 3, we will do a stream. We'll do a Sunday night stream after the Eagles game on Friday. And we will maybe start making some cuts by then, right? Like, they're going to start cutting people shortly thereafter. When is the Eagles game?
Eagles game's Friday night, so we'll probably start seeing the first round of cuts on Saturday.
Okay, so there you go. So Sunday night stream, 8 p.m. next week. We'll talk cuts. We'll talk, starting lineup. We could even do that. We could break down, the lineups that we want to see opening weekend. Boys, the time has finally come. We are now on the precipice of the NFL season. We're going to be talking Jets for real games, ones that matter. And we're going to be here the whole season, and we're going to break it down every single week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, if you watch this after the show airs, hope you watched and enjoyed. Have a great night. Chad, hope you do as well. Grant Rude's sticking in there at the very end. I have to read his comment. Great show as always, guys. Nice to see Chad to get in on the stream too. Have a great night, everyone. Grant, he's on every Sunday night. That's his thing. I hope that you guys enjoy the variety before I end the stream. I hope that you understand that's like a conscious decision, is so that it's not the same faces every time. Hope you appreciate that. Anyways, go Jets. Have a great night. See you guys Wednesday night. Word from my daughter.
See ya.
Go Jets.